William H. Winston. I'm the mission manager for the OBC in the 9th Intel Squadron. I got here in October of 1985. It's some of the best imagery that you can possibly have. It's got very high resolution, and therefore it has done us a good deed over the years. It's one of the few things that it normally doesn't change as far as what comes from the camera or the sensor. However, we've introduced to digitize that imagery and send it out on hard drives to the customer, and that is the marriage of both old and new. It's been critical, especially in the last 20 years, in the AOR in Afghanistan at first, and OEF, and then OIF and Operation Iraqi Freedom. And we've supplied film forward and digital material imagery forward, which in fact is used in planning many of the operations in the AOR, and that's just one of the regions. As far as mission manager goes in the 9th IS, the challenge has been to, no matter if they deploy to the Gulf area or to the PACAV or Southcom, we actually work with the people that plan the missions, and then we work with Defense Courier Service to get the missions back here to Beale, and then process through the house, and then satisfy the customers as to what their final products are needed. And when you're part of all of that, it's kind of like being part of A to Z. Well, it is the final flight for the OBC here at Beale Air Force Base. However, NGA still continues to fly in support of treaties overseas and back on the East Coast. For the near future, they have taken it out of the normal usage. However, because it's still being used in support of the NGA needs, it could very easily come back in to absolutely meet the needs for natural disasters and so forth at a later date if they decide that's what they want to do. There's always sensors to take care of the one that's going away, and so they give the best that they can to backfill that particular need, and they'll continue on, and as long as U-2 is flying and has sensors on board, we'll still be getting some outstanding imagery and some outstanding intelligence. There are some that will in fact move out, contractors and so forth. However, there's some of us that will stay on board working with other areas of the intel community, and thus we will march forward and onward. Believe when you talk about OBC, it is in fact how many of the COCOMs we've been able to support, whether it's PACOM in the Pacific, Southcom south of us in the Central America and beyond, and of course the AOR of OEF and OIF in the Gulf. It's great to be a part of a entity that meets so many needs.
Adam Merigliani, Engineering Support Specialist for Collins Aerospace. So Beale Air Force Base had the final flight of the optical bar camera to culminate roughly 48 years of flights here at Beale Air Force Base. It's significant because the 9RW has processed wet film for almost 50 years, and this will be a movement forward into just digital imagery here at Beale Air Force Base. The OBC played a tremendous role in the U-2 mission for decades, from hurricane relief to the nuclear power plant, the Fukushima nuclear power plant, to border control, and oversees the OIF, OEF mission out of Afghanistan and Iraq. The OBC played the role of broad area surveillance for the U-2 compared to the digital side of the house, which is AZARs and SIRES. Being that we're broad area, we can cover a tremendous amount of ground coverage in one flight versus what we consider soda straw imaging with the digital sensors. As of right now, the OBC will not be replaced with anything. It is wet film, so we're moving into digital, strictly digital world. So AZARs and SIRES will have to pick up the mission that the OBC once held. The U-2 mission started out with wet film or classic film and has basically come forward with digital and radar imagery. Basically, there is no going back now. If wet film is terminated here at Beale Air Force Base, there is no going back. So we've gone forward with technology, but unfortunately we're taking a classic form of technology and making it obsolete. So for me, the most rewarding part is basically my life has been here at Beale Air Force Base for the last 25 years. So it's taken me all over the world. So getting to see the world and experience what the U-2 has to offer all over the world. Moving forward, Beale Air Force Base will lose that technology, and the community basically now has no chance to optimize wet film for, say it's for humanitarian relief, or I guess it would be humanitarian relief was like the floods in this area we've captured with wet film, or again, monitoring our borders and that kind of stuff. Honestly, the OBC is not challenging at all. It's the most reliable sensor that was on the U-2 platform. So moving forward with the sensors that'll be in the FOL, without a doubt, they will do well. They'll fly successfully. We have almost a 95% or better mission capable rate. So I don't see it as any challenge. The biggest challenge, I guess, is technology and trying to convince the powers that be that we are still viable on the U-2 platform. I would just say that the loss of the OBC out of Beale Air Force Base is a tragedy. It's for almost 50 years has supported missions out of Beale and the FOLs, and it will be dearly missed. So the biggest significance is the loss of resolution or viability of the targets. So our resolution is so good, nothing can compare to it still. So that's probably the biggest loss is that you're accepting, while it's digital and it's near real time, you're accepting a product that is has less resolution or lower resolution. So Beale will focus strictly on the digital IMINT or imagery side and signal intelligence side. So unfortunately, with the absence of wet film, we lose that capability. And once it's gone, it's gone.